Well, Jim, you said after the game on Monday that you hoped that after settling down a little bit that the overwhelming feeling for the players would be pride. Do you think that's been the case?
I think the players are coming away thinking that I think they're feeling pleased that they gave a good account of themselves, that they played their game, that for large periods of the game they were very much in the match and gave themselves a chance of taking it all the way to the end of the game, maybe sneaking a goal, maybe getting to extra time. So in that sense they take a lot of credit from the game. There is a bit of disappointment we've lost. There's a bit of disappointment maybe that we didn't make more use of the set plays or the opportunities we had, but I think we dust that down and look at overall that we competed with a very strong Premiership side on equal footing for most of the game.
Looking back at the game, I think one of the stats that stood out the most to me was for all the possession that West Ham had, we only committed 7 fouls in the entire game, which is quite a remarkable statistic, and I know that's something you put a lot of emphasis on in training. Is that maybe an indication of the players starting to maybe get to grips a little bit more with your methods and what you want to see from them on the pitch?
Potentially. I think it was the first game where Mike Dean's not given a yellow card as well, so and there wasn't a foul in the game. When you consider the conditions, the potential for sliding tackles, but I think that was down to our discipline and our focus and concentration, which is really important. I think also that they didn't have too many players that really got at our players. One-on-one situations. They kind of tend to play in front of us, move the ball quickly. But yeah, no, I think credit to our players. It was great discipline. We talked about minimising the set plays, and unfortunately we tried to keep them in front of us and not behind us, but when they got in behind us, conceded a corner, took a quick corner and executed it well. So that was the biggest threat. Yeah, so I think there was lots of aspects of the game that were really good. That was really pleasing. The amount of, if you like, physical and mental discipline that we showed, I think they were really important, especially in a game like that. So whether that's them taking on all my messages or whether them realising that there were much more emotional control and concentration, then hopefully they'll see the benefit of it, because you don't concede goals.
There was a lot of impressive standout performances defensively, but it was another real captain's performance from Liam Hogan as well, and he seems to really have stepped up a level in his performance the last few weeks. Is that fair to say? Yeah,
I think everybody's been really pleased with him. I think in recent games we've seen that powerful defensive performance, and I think what's a real credit to Liam is his willingness to play. His willingness to play from the back, mix up the game. I think that we had a few issues maybe at the start of the season where we were maybe going too long, we weren't using the extra man at the back, we weren't willing to play, and I think that we've certainly addressed that, and Liam's leading the way in that side of it as well. So now it's just us perhaps just finding the right balance between playing and mixing it up, but I think for large parts we looked brave on the ball, we looked brave without the ball, so in that sense I think there was a very strong performance from Liam and Keno and Mark Kitchen and Sam Minahan. So, and it wasn't just about defending your backs to the wall, it was actually the willingness to get on the ball. They probably had more touches and more passes than most of the team.
Looking ahead to Saturday's game, it's FA Trophy, but two teams that are also going for promotion at the minute, both have important league games on Tuesday. Do you think that's something that might be reflected in the team sheets on Saturday?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at the track record in the previous round, albeit against a lower placed opposition, there was changes made. I think that both clubs will be looking at the priority being having the strongest, fittest team and freshest team available for Tuesday night, especially when you consider both have got to travel quite long distances. They've got to go to Yeovil, we've got to go to Dagenham. So in that sense, that'll definitely have a bearing on it. We've obviously had a game on Monday. I think their game was called off, so maybe there might be an aspect of wanting to give players a run out that have not played or to keep the team strong. But I can't second guess their team. We're preparing as if they're playing the first team. If they happen to make 3 or 4 or 5 changes, then I'm sure that the players they have on the bench will be as strong as those that are starting. So and the same with us. If we decide to make 4 or 5 changes, then I think we'll still have a very, very competitive side. It's a question of how far we make changes to give everybody an opportunity to be part of it, but while still retaining the competitiveness to win the match.
It's only been just over a month since we last played Notts County. Does the manner of that defeat at Meadow Lane add an extra incentive to this game, an opportunity to maybe put right a few wrongs that day?
I think we've put a lot of things right since then. I was extremely frustrated and disappointed in watching what unfolded in that game, tactically, technically, the way that we approached the game. And I think that we got knocked out by stride and never really got back into any stride. Even though I made some substitutions, I expected a sort of improvement in energy and improvement in quality, and never found that. So it was a really disappointing performance. I don't think this game is about putting that one right. This isn't the league match where we want to get the 3 points back and we want to turn over that deficit. I think that we've put a lot of things right in the Altrincham, Wrexham, Alty, West Ham games in terms of playing the game much more to what I want. So since that day, I just said, rather than demanding from players to play, I've just got to coach as well as I can. Coach just do what I do well on the training ground, get the staff to coach people, give them the confidence to play, and let's not have a performance like that again. I think since that game we've played a lot better. We showed a much better footballing and cutting edge, and I think that that's pleasing, that progress, and I just want us to continue on that path of progress.
Although it is a trophy game, is there any psychological boost to be gained potentially by beating a promotion rival in Notts County?
Possibly, but again, it's in the context of the team they put out. We've had a psychological boost from playing West Ham. There is potentially, but I think it'll only, it's not because we play Notts County, it's because you win another game and you get back to winning ways and you get back on the stride of performing well. You can play poorly and win a game, and whether that gives you the same confidence as playing well and losing to a team. But from our perspective, I think it'll just be a question of us keeping in the pattern of work and progress that we're looking for, and making sure that we're effective and that we can win the game. And if we win the game, we'll just move on to Tuesday night. And each game is going to be really important, but we're not psychologically flattened by Monday's defeat. We take a lot from it. I think it's all about how you work all week, how you perform on a Saturday, and making sure that you're doing a lot of things right and making progress. If you do that, then we're going to get better and better as the season goes on. So this game won't define us the same way that many games that have gone on in the last 15, 18 matches won't define us. What will define our season is how we learn from mistakes, how we continue to grow, and how we continue to improve our performance. Because if we do that, the results will look after themselves.
And just finally from me, Saturday will also be a year to the day since Mark Stott's takeover of the club. There's been a lot of difficulties in that time with COVID, obviously, but what do you make of the progress the club has made on and off the pitch since then?
Well, it's hard to feel all the progress because the fans haven't been in the atmosphere and got to have a look at the facilities. They've seen all the images as such, but I think we've come a long way. Obviously, we were a team that had inconsistencies and some indifferent form in last season due to the lack of depth in the squad and perhaps the fact that we were hybrid. And I think they're all beginning to be ironed out. I think the club's transformed itself both on and off the pitch and on in terms of full-time football, and putting ourselves in a position where there looks and feels like optimism, positivity towards further growth. We're sat in a nice solid position of fourth, which is one of the minimum requirements we were looking for this year, was to be extremely competitive for the playoffs and pushing for being champions. A lot of work to be done, but a lot of things are in place now after this first year to give us every opportunity of being successful.
Jim, thanks for your time.
Welcome.